So, hello everyone. The National Education Policy has been released. You are aware of that. The National Education Policy was long awaited and finally it has been released, and there are a lot of doubts regarding this. So, I have spent some time in studying this, and here are the highlights. Okay, it's a long document. You have to read it thoroughly, but just to simplify things, I think these are the basics. So the most important change is that the existing academic structure was 10 plus 2. Okay. We were all doing this 10 plus 2. Okay, so up to 10th was one block. And as you see from the figure here, the next 2 years was 11, 12th was separate. So there was a big jump from class 10 to 11. Okay, so students used to say up to class 10, oh my God, this is so simple. And then suddenly what happened was in 11th and 12th, there was a huge jump. Okay, so the whole school system has now changed from the 10 plus 2 system to another new academic structure, which is the 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Okay, now earlier it was 12 years. Now, how come so many years? People are confused. How come 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4? That it's 15 years of education. That's because now they are going to include the preschool also as part of education. So earlier you used to have play schools. When the child was 3 years, you could send to a play school, and there was no real accountability in terms of learning. So it depended on the play school whether they used to teach up to 10 or up to A, B, C, D, E, F, or the whole set of alphabets. There was nothing, no guidelines. Now this whole thing from starting from play schools has been integrated into the school system, right? So that is why we have the play school, the Anganwadis, the preschool, whatever we call in different parts of the country. So that is starting from the age of 3. Okay, so we have the play school, then we have the nursery, and then we have the KG, then class 1 and class 2. So this is your first 5 years, the formative years. Okay, so these formative years are the most important part of child's life. And so far it was not regulated, and schools were free to impart education in the best possible manner. So now this is getting incorporated into the system. So this is the 5 years. Then we go to the age of class 3 to 5. Okay, so that is one group up to class. We have the first group 5 years, and the next 3 years is from class 3 to 5. So 3 to 5, that is from age groups approximately 8 to 11. Okay, that's your second stage. So what is the proposal? Basically that you must have read in the newspaper and articles that now what is going to happen, the first testing, there are tests in school, but the first official testing in terms of the learning outcomes of a child will come after these first 5 years of education. That means after class 2, there is going to be the first exam, right, of the learning assessment. So that is class 3. Then we have class 3 to 4, 5. Okay, class 3, 4, 5, that is one cluster. Okay, from ages of 8 to 11, which is called the middle stage, where they will be introduced to a lot of playway methods, activity-based learning, and interactive classroom learning. Okay, so it's not going to be focused only on academics. There is going to be a lot of playway method, discovery method, learning by doing themselves, and it's going to be very, very interactive. Unlike the present system of rote learning and memorization, it's going to be very interactive, and the child should be learning by doing. Okay, then we go to the next stage, that is the next 3 years, that is classes 6, 7, 8. Now here a lot of changes have come, and here the most important, in fact, in starting from the lower classes also, they have said that now the child should be encouraged to study in the mother tongue. That means the regional languages are being given emphasis, right? So this is called the 3-language formula. So 3-language formula means you have English, you have in the northern belt if you speak Hindi, and there could be a third language which should be an Indian language. So you could choose Sanskrit or any other Indian language, but not French, German, Spanish, which most of the schools are presently doing. And right now, there is no compulsion regarding the foreign languages. But in the new education policy, the emphasis is on Indian value system, Indian culture, Indian traditions, Indian languages. So the 3-language formula, English, of course, is a medium of instruction in most schools. But the regional language is encouraged because they say that a child learns best when the child learns in the mother tongue. So if you're from the south, Kerala, then Malayalam may be best. If you are from Tamil Nadu, then Tamil may be best. If you're from Punjab, then Punjabi may be best. So depending on your state, the regional language will be your third language, right? So the third language, the three language formula will be based on that. And it's going to be a lot of, again, experiential learning. And one very good thing, the children are going to be introduced to coding. Can you imagine that in class 6 coding? And this is the foresight of the future, right? Because everything is now based on coding, artificial intelligence, augmented reality. So all this is going to be introduced at this stage, which we call the middle stage. These 3 years, the child is going to be exposed to all these, and they are going to have a lot of exposure to math, science, art, social science. They're going to impart all this. So again, removal of rote learning and more of experiential learning, which the CBSE has been talking about for the past couple of months. Then we come to the final stages. Earlier it was 9, 10, and that was one block, and 11, 12 was separate. Okay, 1 to 10 in fact was one block. Now 9 to 12 is one block. Okay, the new academic structure is 9 to 12 is one block. So what is important in this making this one block is that earlier the student had the choice of choosing their streams in class 11, right? Now these choices will start right from classes 9 onwards. So the student can choose their subjects. And now what happens is there are curricular subjects, academic subjects, and there is extracurricular, like for example, art education, physical education, or music, dance, singing. All this is now extracurricular. Now in the new national education policy, all this is going to be integrated learning. So you could study maths and you could also study music. So these becomes your subjects. So I'm very excited. There's going to be a lot of interesting stuff for the students, because you can cross over. Like commerce students, for example, could opt for a subject which is traditionally science. So you can cross over. So it's going to be really interesting. But how the schools and the board really implement it, we'll have to just wait and see. But at the moment, it appears very interesting on reading, because it's all based on the student is the focus, and the student will really enjoy, because the student has the ability to choose their subjects, which at the moment in 9th, 10th we are not giving. They're all compulsory subjects. Another very important thing which the board has the document says is the Right to Education Act, which at the moment is for ages up to years of 14. So that means up to class 8. So you have a lot of dropouts after 8, because the Right to Education Act is only up to the age of 14. That has been extended till the age of 18 years. That means till the child completes 12th. So he has access to college education, because earlier what was happening, there was a dropout after 8th, RT is finished, then there was a problem in continuing with the education, in free education, and then they had to pay. So many of them dropped out, and then ultimately now that class 8 pass are not getting jobs. Then they are not going to apply for further studies. So there were a lot of restrictions because of that. So now that is going to be removed. So this removal of the RTE barrier is extended now up to the age of 18. So this is the 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, right? So just to reinforce this, so the first group is the play group, the preparatory group, the nursery, KG, class 1 and 2, where the foundation takes place. Then we have the class 3, 4, 5, that is the next 3, and then classes 6, 7, 8 is the next group, and where the lot of tremendous change, as I told you, about coding, logical thinking, creativity is going to be introduced. And in 9 to 12, major changes. Life skills are very important nowadays. You learn about physics, you learn about maths, you learn about so much of science, but then ultimately when it comes to practical application, the student does not know what to do. If there is a short circuit, the student will not be able to understand what happened or how to rectify it. If a bulb is fused, the logic probably many of them cannot explain. So there are a lot of stuff, life skills, which can be incorporated in vocational training, and this is going to be very good, because these are all practicals which is used in real life. So life skills are presently 0, as you are aware of the present syllabus. So there is no scope of training them in life skills. So the vocational training is going to be introduced in a big way, and practical knowledge is going to be given to them. So that's a big jump. 9 to 12, the exam pattern, that's going to have a lot of impact. Now we are having a lot of subjective questions based on facts, and memorization and rote learning. All that is going to be objective now, more or less objective. It's not going to be all objective. It's going to be a mixture of objective and subjective. Right now we have a very small portion of objective questions, but that's going to be gradually increased. And considering the present situation also, I think many schools have already started objective questioning. And in the future, I think in the next 5 years, everything is going to be objective totally, as you see in the entrance exams of IIT or medicine. Everything is online examinations. So I'm sure that the CBSE also will be going totally online with respect to objective questioning. The kind of questions that are asked are not now going to be thought-provoking, application-based, not rote learning. You are asking about dates or just reproducing facts. So that's a major change regarding the question paper. And of course, the choice of subjects in class 9, there will be no discrimination between music, dance, or let's say maths and science. Every subject will have equal weightage. So there's nothing called extracurricular now. Everything is now part of the curriculum. So it's good news for people who are talented as artists or musicians or art or stage performers. All these people are going to gain from our new system, because this is the first time, I think, in all these policies that has been implemented, that our multiple forms of intelligence are going to come into play. So right now, what is happening is that in our education system, if you're getting a 90%, you are intelligent. Otherwise, if you are a brilliant musician, then there is no recognition. Whereas we know that people like Beethoven and, all the famous Michael Jackson, probably, all these people have high IQs, and that's why they have excelled in their fields. But in our academic system, unfortunately, there's no system where we can give points to that. So the next policy, this national education policy, has been designed to give equal weightage to talented people like that. And I think that's a fantastic thing, because not only are they going to concentrate on academics, but also on the earlier what we called as the co-curricular. Now it's not co-curricular, it's part of our life skills and academics. So that's the thing. And the pattern of our boards are going to be changed completely, as we have to wait for the exact pattern and the question papers. It's going to be knowledge based and application based. There's going to be virtual labs created, and the teachers are going to be obviously trained in that. So virtual labs and how the student can benefit from all these, we are yet to know, but definitely it's going to be big changes. As far as teacher education is concerned, the 1-year B.Ed courses will no longer be valid. You have to do a 2-year B.Ed if you have finished your graduation, or you have to do a 4-year integrated course. So people who are really interested in teaching will only opt for this. That time has gone then, where you just took a graduation and you didn't find anything, and then you did a 1-year teaching course and you got into a school. So that is, the government wants only serious, dedicated educators to enter into the academic circle. So it's going to be a 4-year proper integrated course, or a graduation plus 2 years of B.Ed. So you need to spend a minimum of at least 4 to 5 years in this. The other thing is that the MPhil has been removed. There used to be, you do post-graduation, then MPhil, and then you used to do your PhD. Now the MPhil is going to be removed. So that barrier has totally gone. Then private colleges used to charge exorbitant fees for engineering and medical. All that is going to be regulated. It's going to be more controlled, so that, common people can afford the fees, just like government colleges. They're subsidized, and they will be able to charge only what is due as fees for them. So all this is going to take time. So obviously it's not a matter of 1 year that everything is going to be implemented. It's going to be it's going to take a lot of time. So what is important for us is to understand the timeline. And another, before we go to the timeline, a very interesting concept that has been brought is that they are going to bring in bagless days. You go to school without bags. How interesting is that? So no bags. I think those days will be the happiest days for students. They are going to go there without bags, and there will be subject enrichment activities, and there are going to be a lot of programs for them without referring to any textbooks. How interesting is that? So there is a lot of bagless days. So the child just walks into the school without any bag, without any books, and they're just going to do some activities and some enrichment programs, right? And I just forgot to mention about the B.Ed programs. Will also now be having a program of B.Ed for gifted children. Okay, now the India has realized that we have to promote gifted children if the country has to progress. Because in countries like USA, you must have heard that a child who is 10 years has already completed class 12 and so on and so forth, because they have a system of identifying gifted children. In India, what happens is that however brilliant you are fixed in that, protocol. You have to go from one class to the other, and there is no system called double promotions, and the teachers are unable to handle extremely brilliant students. So the government is going to take care of these through special programs. The teachers are going to be trained, and just like we had B.Ed for special kids, we are going to have B.Ed for gifted children. And that's a big plus point, because we are going to identify our gifted children and give them opportunities so that they grow. And that's also good for the progress of our country, that we identify our gifted children and we create a pool where the children are identified and they can do something good for the country. And as I said, the curriculum is going to change. And when will this happen? So there will be, first of all, in class 9 onwards, class 10, you know that already there is a basic maths and a standard maths, which has been introduced. Now, in every subject, they are going to introduce 2 levels. So that's also a very interesting concept, course A, course B, or what you call basic and standard. In maths, they have already implemented a basic is an easier level of maths, and standard is the tougher level of maths, you can say. So in every subject in class 9 onwards, there will be these 2 levels where you can choose whether you want to do the tough one or the easy one, depending on what your aspirations are, what are the careers that you want to take on in later on in life. So they're already going to start with the mathematics subject, and gradually they're going to do it for English, Hindi, social science, sciences, and all the other subjects, right? So when are the most important question, when is all this going to be happening? So these are the timelines that are given. Okay, so this year we can expect no major changes as such, because the session is already halfway over, and only the pattern of the question paper, some guidelines may come from the CBSE regarding that the pattern may change. Otherwise, we are not expecting any major changes in the coming months. But what is definitely going to change is that in 2021, they are going to start implementation of the phase 1. They call it the phase 1. These are in different phases, and as you see the screen here, this is a long program right up to 2025. So what is happening initially in class 9? So next year, the students who are going to class 9, 2021, are going to get their new curriculum. It's going to be a reduced curriculum, which is going to be interesting, interactive, and need of the times. It's going to be futuristic. And we hope that in the class 9, those students who are going to from 8 to 9, they will be in 2021, they're going to get their first set of guidelines for the same. And then gradually in 2022, if you see the time, it's going to go to class 10, 2023 to 11, and 2024 to class 12. And all this is going to come, it's going to take 4 or 5 years to settle down, because gradually they'll be implementing all this. And as they implement for class 9 onwards, same way they're going to introduce from 2021 at the pre-primary level. So they will take from pre-primary to the next level, nursery, KG, class 1, class 2, it keeps on going year after year. And the whole system they are going to revamp by 2025. So it's a 5-year plan. Of course, they've got further phases. So I'm just discussing the first 5 years, what is immediate right now. So hope I have given you an idea of what you can expect in the coming months, coming years. At the first look of the document, it sounds very futuristic, very nice, and it's going to be very good for the students and for the country. So thank you so much, and thank you for your patience. I hope I was able to clear some of the doubts that you are facing. So thank you so much. And if there is something further clarification, I'll be always available on WhatsApp, on Facebook, or I will be making another YouTube video when further clarifications about the board pattern, etc. comes. So thank you so much.